there are some smart things that I think top producers do. As an example, one of the things that I think top producers think about, I think their currency in some ways is what I would call top of mind status. So one of my favorite stories is I was working with the group and they had a top producer and they hired a young guy and they put the young guy next to the top producer. And after 30 days, I showed up and I said, so what have you learned by sitting next to the guy? And he goes, nothing. I'm like, really? You sat next to the top producer for a month and you didn't learn anything? He goes, yeah, I didn't learn anything. And I go, could you expound on that? And he goes, he sits there and his phone rings all day and he takes all these calls and he navigates and he negotiates and he gets all this stuff done. I stare at my phone, it never rings. And so my point of that is that what I find in the top producers is that their currency is top of mind status. So they constantly think in terms of making those deposits in the relationship bank with an identified group of people. And the theory is that I think what they would say is you can't call them on the day they need you. Like they, oh, it's so amazing. You just called. We just had a meeting. We're looking for someone to handle this for us, said no prospect ever.
Right.
But when they have those meetings, because they do have those meetings, then they're like, I got a guy. I got it. I got a boss. I got a guy. And then they run down the hall and they call. And so they invest in that so heavily that they have a lot of inbound business. They have a lot of repeat business. They get a lot of referrals. Their business is actually fairly predictable because they've been talking to people for so long. They know that the Jackson agency is going to sell that property sometime before the financing expires in September. And they know that's the card they're playing for. So it's almost like an off-market deal. It's like you learned about it before the market did.